Hey, how are you? Welcome into the Adam Groom Show, where you're going to get takes from Groomer. Sign right there. Yeah, so it's been a while. We're about 9 days removed from the Toronto Maple Leafs season ending. And it's more of the same. Everyone's saying the same stuff. But the difference is that it's decision-making time on some of these players. And people want them to come back. Some people. A lot of people think a lot of them are not coming back. For me, it's just not the fact that they lose. It's the way they lose. How they lose. How they look when they lose. What they say after they lose. And it drives you crazy. So it's 9 years running. And I'm going to try and keep this simple because I did write some things down, but it's more about the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs and not what we just had to witness. And since we're so removed from it, I feel that you're going to hear a lot of the same crap. But I just don't understand it because it's 9 years running. The big boys haven't shown us anything. And then you look at what Florida's doing to Carolina right now, and you think, well, maybe the Leafs aren't that bad. And I don't think the Leafs are that bad. They took the Stanley Cup champions to Game 7. But for 9 years, it's been the same thing. It's been our best players, the players who get paid all the money, not being able to get the job done. Not even close. Good friend of mine shared a little stat with the boys today showing since 2022 in the playoffs, Zachary Hyman, the stand is fucked. Oh, there we go. That's better. Oh, there it is, snapped in. Zach Hyman has 37 goals or 35 goals, and then combined, Matthews, Marner, Nylander had 37. I think that's what it was. They had 37 and Hyman has 35. Well, Edmonton's played more games than the Leafs. That's not the point. You're missing the point. So it's stats like that that just make me think, why is it going to change? Sometimes I think you could keep the core four, and I hate that word. You can just keep the four of them there. Or even if you just brought back Marner and maybe you just change the guys that are below them that can maybe kick them in the ass or provide more goals. But then I think a lot of their scoring was from depth in the playoffs this year. So, I can't go on. We're going to move forward. And what we've done here moving forward is these are players who are under contract. And we'll start with the defense because they're all coming back. Every single one of them, which I love. They have them locked up for next year and I believe the year after. The unfortunate part for me, and you may have heard me said it somewhere before, I dislike Morgan Rielly because of the way he's ended up playing. Too many times the decisions he makes on the ice lead to chances or lead to goals. There was a play against Florida where he had the puck behind our net and he gives it to, I think it was Carlo. I think that was his playing partner at the time, but it could have been at any shift. And he gets it to Carlo in the corner, but then immediately Rielly leaves the back of the net. You have to stay there. You're the safety guy. You're the cushion guy. You're the guy that if the person you just gave the puck to has nothing to do with it, he can give it back to you behind the net and we can regroup a little bit. I just don't get it. Rielly leaves like he's leaving the zone. Ugh. So $7.5 million for Rielly the rest of our lives. So that's the only one I would probably do. In my perfect world, you find a way to get rid of Rielly, but I don't think it's going to happen, and you bring in a guy like Ivan Provorov. Now we're just going crazy armchair GM, and it's probably not going to happen, but that's what I would do. I mean, the rest of the defensive core on the Leafs is not very offensive, and Rielly's your best offensive, but it's gone, man. It's past. It's gone. It drives me crazy. Okay, so the forwards that are coming back next year are Domi at 3.75, Matthews at $400 million a year, Nylander at 11.5, McMahon at 1.35, Lawton at $1.5 million, Yarncroke at 2.1, Kampf at 2.4. The guy didn't even play. This was the first signing Treliving did, and he gave David Kampf $2.4 million. What are we doing? And Reeves is going to be there. 1.35, it's nothing. And he'll be in and out here and there, probably not, but, he's there. Those are the forwards you have coming back. And if you counted, that's 8. So there's a lot of space. Now, I wrote down the RFAs. Pontus Holmberg, smell you later. You can come back and be you're not a second-line winger. You're not really a third-line winger. You can be a fourth-line winger if you like. At $1.2 million or whatever the hell, something lower than what David Kampf got. But I just think you say see you later to him. Nick Robertson. I like Nick Robertson. I really do. He's young. He's 23 years old. He's still going to make some mistakes, but I like his speed. I like his skill, and I think he could do something for the Leafs. We'll talk about him here in a second, a bit more. And then you got Matty Nice. So Matty Nice is getting a bit of a bag. He's coming back. He's going to be your first line left winger for hopefully the next 8 years. Give him 8 times 8. I don't give a damn. I loved him in the playoffs. I think he was hurt, and there was a lot of guys that might have been hurt, but I really like this guy. I want him to stay. Please stay. He's going to stay. And then the UFAs, you have Pacioretty. Now, Pacioretty, I'm hit or miss on because he didn't play a lot this year, but I liked what he did in the playoffs. Again, super slow. I was a guy that was screaming to the skies to say, get him out of the lineup and put Robertson back in. And then he scores the game-winning goal to clinch the series, I believe it was. But I like what Pacioretty brings. Again, he's slow, but he could be a third, fourth-line winger and, play 50 games in the regular season. So that's a decision. That's something. You got Tavares, you got Marner, you got Steven Lorentz, and you got Hakanpää, who didn't play. His knee's destroyed, and I think that guy's just a wash. He's gone. Steven Lorentz, I liked him. Third line or fourth line, he did a lot of things. He had those chances, and he just can't bury. I'd rather maybe take a look at an option somewhere else, as we'll talk about here in a second. Yeah. So Tavares. The Tavares thing, now I made a perfect world lineup on the forward side because the goalies are coming back and I'm happy about that. And the Leafs didn't lose the series because Stolarz was hurt. We need to understand that, right? Wall wasn't fantastic, but he didn't lose you the series. And I've said it before, did you want Stolarz to score goals too? Is that what you were looking for? Because I don't think that was going to happen. Figure it out. Do you want to bring Tavares back? And everybody, what the hell is this? Everybody's talking. And he was talking yeah, we had a great talk. I think I'm coming back. I understand that he scored 40 or whatever it was, 38, second line. A lot of those goals were on the power play standing in front of the net. I get he sometimes generated something, but it wasn't enough for me. I don't care what you do in the regular season. I think this Leafs team will make the playoffs no matter what next year. No matter what. It's what did you do in the playoffs? And the only thing I saw from him in the playoffs was being way too slow and losing battle after battle. Didn't even notice him. Every time the Leafs played a game and I did a little hit after, I said, I'm waiting for John Tavares, along with the rest of the big guys, to do something. And I kept waiting. We all kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and he couldn't get it done. So, do a lot of teams in the NHL need a second-line center? 100% they do. But Tavares, is he going to go to Winnipeg and be the second-line center there, and then they think something different's going to happen in the playoffs? Could you surround him with fast, skilled wingers? He had Nylander and Holmberg for most of the time. Now, I get it. That left side on the second line was terrible, and we all knew it wasn't fantastic for the whole season. We were hoping Pacioretty could do it, but again, it's not speed. So if you can get a skilled guy on the left side and Nylander still on the right side, 2 fast guys to help Tavares out, I could maybe see that working. But we still just circle back to the fact that he's disappeared in the playoffs and he's only getting older. You want to bring him back at $3 million per year? at 1-year deals and play him as a third line? Sure, but who's to say he's going to be able to keep up with the third line center on the other team in the playoffs? So it's what do you do? Tell me, what do? Do you bring him back and just put him as your second line center and think that it's going to change when the playoffs come? And it's also brutal because I think the Toronto Maple Leafs would have beaten Carolina. So you were a shitty Game 7 away. You played terrible. You got owned. You got dominated. Dominated in a Game 7. And if you could have figured it out, you probably beat Carolina. You'd be playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, probably against Edmonton. Let's go. But it is what it is. Now Marner, I think if Marner really wanted to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, it would have happened already. It would have happened during the season. He's a 100-point guy. How do you replace that with the free agents that are up? You don't. You don't replace 100 points. It's hard to replace 38 goals from Tavares. But it's the playoffs. We're talking playoffs. Playoffs. So I think Marner wants to be the highest paid player in the NHL. I think his ego wants that. And it's kind of cool. But what are you gonna go to Utah? You gonna help them make the playoffs? And then maybe go on a heater? I don't know. You're going to go to Chicago because they can afford you and probably not make the playoffs? It's really iffy. So then I still look. Could the Leafs bring him back? Could they offer him 12 times 8? Biz Nasty, shout out. Wants everybody to come back. I think it's because we just want to believe that they can get it done. That something you set up almost a decade ago was good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Not sure, man. Not sure. We'll see what happens there. So we have NHL unrestricted free agents coming up. There's a crap ton of them. So I went through a list and I wrote the names down that I thought I would want on my team. On Adam Groom's NHL hockey team. I don't care about the money. There's this website you could use where it kind of generates a player's worth or what their expected contract's going to be. I haven't really played around with it, but that's a pretty cool concept. But I don't want to crunch numbers because I hate that part. Actually, it could be fun. But I'm looking at the players' names and where they could fit. And this is in no specific order. I just wrote down names that I really liked. So let's go through them. There's 10 of them. 10 of them that were not Toronto Maple Leafs last year. Number 1, Ryan Donato, 29 years old. He got 31 goals last year. Yes, it was on Chicago, and somebody had to put the puck in the net. But he can play the wing. He can play center. He can hit. He can play the body. I like him. I would put him on my team, which we'll go through in a sec. Ryan Donato. Patrick Kane, 36 years old. Skill, still there. Point production, wasn't there as much. I would kick tires. Now, maybe he just doesn't want to play in Canada. Maybe he doesn't want to play with Austin Matthews. I thought they might have been boys, but he is older, and where is he going to go? If he's playing on a contending team, it's not going to be great minutes. But Patrick Kane, I like it. Brock Nelson, I wrote him down. 33 years old. Is he going to come play in Canada? I don't think so. Is he good enough of a second-line center to do a bit more? Is he going to get Nylander's engine going a bit more on the defensive side? Probably not. But he's there. Sam Bennett. Everyone's talking about Sam Bennett now. He's 28 years old. Who's to say Sam Bennett's not just going to say, I don't know, give me 4 years in Florida and I'll stay here. But Florida seems like they're a team that's not going to overpay anybody. They're fine with letting people go. They've built something there. Zito has built something there that just works. It reminds me of Vegas. And it could just be next guy up. It could be Lundell. Here you go, Lundell, third line center. Now you're the second line center. Because he looked pretty damn good this year. But I have Sam Bennett. I'd love to see Sam Bennett on the team. But then again, 28 years old. You're going to throw 8 years at him? I hope not. Brad Marchand, 37 years old. I was talking to a coworker today, and he said, would I give Brad Marchand a 2-year deal at $5 per? I would. He'd be 39 at the end of it. He just celebrated a birthday on May 11th. Shout out, Brad Marchand. Happy birthday. I would. Everyone says, especially in Toronto, you hate the guy. Well, you know what? He's beat us all the time. So would you not want him on your team in the playoffs? Come on. Of course you do. Figure it out. Kyle Palmieri. I've always liked this guy. He's 34 years old. He can play the wing. Third line, fourth line, right wing. Love his energy. I'd think about it. Riley Smith, 34 years old. Again, all these players are a bit older, but these are all guys like Riley Smith. He's a cup winner. Sam Bennett, cup winner. Brad Marchand, cup winner. Patrick Kane, cup winner. Riley Smith, put him on the left wing. I don't know. I don't think you can afford him. Might not work, but I have it written down. Yanni Gourde, 33 years old. Cup winner. Bottom six guy. Could work. Brandon Tanev. Maybe his brother can be like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, bro. Come play with us. Although he seems like such a good fit in Winnipeg. But Brandon Tanev on the left side on your fourth line, just running amok. It's pretty good. And Nick Bugstad, 32. So he was a healthy scratch a lot in Utah. Just might not be a great fit. But I'd love him on the Leafs. I really would. So now after going through all that, my perfect world. I said I wasn't going to ramble, but we're hitting 20 minutes almost. Not even. My perfect world. Excuse me. So we talked about the goalies. They're staying the same, which is great. We talked about the D, just staying the same, which is almost great. We have the forwards. First line, Matthews with Nyes and Patrick Kane. Thoughts? Second line, Sam Bennett with Brad Marchand and William Nylander. This is one of my favorite lines. It really is. I think it would be dynamite. Now, I'm going to run through the rest, and then you're going to be like, well, what about all these other players that the Leafs still have signed? Because you're not going to see them on this board. Third line, Scotty Lawton with Ryan Donato and Nick Robertson. I think it could do some damage. Fourth line, Nick Bugstad with Kyle Palmieri and Brandon Tanev. Boom! I did it. I just did it. The Leafs would win a Stanley Cup. Wow. I can't believe I did it. So, the names that are already on, you got to figure out a way to get rid of Max Domi, Mick Mann, David Kampf, and Calle Jarnkrok. Kampf would go for a 7th rounder somewhere. Jarnkrok could go to Minnesota. Bobby McMahon could go to, Seattle. And Domi, I don't mind if Domi stays, but God, he just seems like it's tough one. Tough one at 3.75 too. Domi could go somewhere. I did it. You're welcome. That's how the Leafs win a Stanley Cup. But really, as a Leaf fan, I just don't... it's getting to the point where, I've known so many people who have loved the Leafs for so long, and they've lost family members. They've lost their parents and moms, dads. And it gets to the point where it's just give me something. Give me the 93-94 again. I'll never forget the high stick happened. Now, I knew what was going on. It's kind of like when Joe Carter hit the home run for the Jays. I knew how important it was. I didn't realize how important it was as my mom and dad jumped around the TV room. But when the Leafs lost, when Gretzky high stick Gilmore, and my dad was pissed. My dad shut off the TV when the game ended, and he walked out the front door. And he never came back. I'm joking. I said, Mommy, what's Daddy doing? Oh, he's going for a walk. Okay. So I knew it was important. I didn't even realize at the time how important. But give me that feeling again. Are we ever going to get that? Are we ever going to get an 0-1 or whatever it was against Carolina again? If you lost Game 7 against Florida and it was a 2-1 game, a 3-2 game, and you fought really hard, it'd be so different. But just the way it goes, it sucks. And I want to experience that with my dad again. I want to watch it. But anyways, I'm going to go watch the rest of the Edmonton game. I think Edmonton can pull this thing off. I didn't give them a lot of love at the start of the playoffs. I thought they'd lose to LA in 7, and all they've done is prove me wrong and looked dynamite all playoffs. Like, everybody's going, but the engine is Draisaitl and McDavid, and like, that's what you want in your best players. Like, Draisaitl's literally putting Kapanen and somebody else put Colson on his back and making them a line. Toronto doesn't have that. They don't have those guys. It's fun playing armchair GM. As I get out of here, a few days removed from last Friday, this is Tuesday night, November-ish 2002, Around the Horn premiered on ESPN, or on TSN for me up here. And I always watched PTI, one of my favorite shows, still one of my favorite shows ever, shout out. But Around the Horn was such a great way to start the 5 o'clock hour. I still think I have better hockey takes than a lot of those people on the show, but it was just really cool. It was great banter. I still don't understand a lot of the game, but Tony Reale, shout out, did explain it. But, Kalashaw, Bill Plaschke, Bobby Ryan, Woody Page, Jackie McMullen, Frank Isola, Pablo Torre, Izzy Gutierrez. So many journalists came through there. And what I really appreciated about that show is that it was actual journalists. It wasn't athletes, former athletes, as we're seeing take all these jobs up. Which isn't a bad thing, but I don't want journalism to be dead. I don't want sports writing to be dead, and it's not. It's far from it. But that was one of the coolest aspects about that show, in my mind, was it was just a writer's perspective, a sports lover's perspective, and I hope I'm sure a lot of those people are going to land on their feet. But it was a cool show. It was on for a long time, and Tony Reale was awesome. And I'll end this with a paper toss, as Tony always did, and yeah, it was pretty good. All right, Groomer's Take. Good to see ya. Talk to you later. Bye.